What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and things just don't seem to have gone on very well here for 2023. Yesterday, one of the worst earthquakes ever has hit. Take a look. Yeah, more than 5,000 people dead already in Turkey and Syria. One of their worst earthquakes in the area ever. And, well,
White House tonight says that the U.S. is now among the many countries racing to help after that catastrophic earthquake. The images are horrific tonight, and it is heartbreaking. The scope of the loss continues to mount after that powerful earthquake striking Turkey near the border with Syria, the worst to strike there in a century. The 7.8 quake followed by multiple aftershocks now. Take a look at the terrifying moment this apartment building collapses hours after the initial quake. People right there running for their lives, and tonight the staggering toll. More than 3,700 lives lost and still rising. A reporter on the scene spotting a woman and her children in that haze there, rushing to help them get to safety. Near the epicenter tonight, almost total destruction, survivors salvaging anything they can, millions across that region now homeless tonight. The desperate search for survivors, rescuers digging through flattened buildings, often using their hands to dig. Rescue dogs at the scene, the urgent search for anyone who might be alive. There were calls for silence, to listen for survivors, and then this moment right here, a toddler pulled out alive. We have just learned that President Biden has talked with Turkey's President Erdogan, and the U.S. and dozens of other countries are pledging immediate help tonight. ABC's Marcus Moore leading us off in Istanbul, and we warn you, the images are very difficult.
Tonight, the most powerful earthquake to hit Turkey in 100 years, striking in the middle of the night as millions were sleeping. Videos showing the moment that 7.8 magnitude quake hit. You can hear the shaking and see power flashes. This town plunged into darkness. The danger persisting through the day, clouds of debris billowing into the street as this building collapses, the region rocked by at least 75 aftershocks. First responders on the scene of this collapsed building when the one next to it comes crashing down too. This reporter covering the urgent search and rescue efforts when the earth shakes again, people running for their lives. You can hear the buildings collapsing. Witnesses turning around to see this. Moments later, spotting a mother and her children racing to help them get to safety. Wait, this man says, as the frantic search for survivors began before dawn. Rescuers pausing here to listen for signs of life.
Yeah, our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody in the area, in the region, as it's already a turmoil-stricken region, and now it probably take years to rebuild some of those spots here. Let me know your thoughts here. Also, let me know your thoughts here on what Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has to say, as we're dealing with a lot here ourselves, especially on the debt ceiling crisis, as we seem no closer here to negotiations and solving it. Listen to what she has to say. Take a listen.
Begin with what seems to be a paradox. We've got this new unemployment numbers out on Friday, 3.4%, lowest number since 1969. Yet our new poll shows, I'm going to put it up there, Rebecca just mentioned it, 41% of Americans think they're worse off now than when President Biden took office. Only 16% think they're better off. How do you explain that? What can you do about it?
Well, the country has been through a lot, George, with the COVID pandemic and all the stress that placed on the economy, and then Russia's war in Ukraine that boosted food and energy prices. Americans are concerned about inflation, and it's been President Biden's top priority to bring it down. But really, we have a strong and resilient economy. I know President Biden will talk about that. As you mentioned, the unemployment rate is at a 53-year low of 3.4%. Last month, we created over 500,000 jobs, more than 12 million since the president took office. And inflation is coming down. It remains too high, but it's been falling for the last 6 months. And while the Fed has primary responsibility here, hear legislation that has been passed in some cases on a bipartisan basis is strengthening our economy and lowering costs for Americans. The Inflation Reduction Act lowers the cost of prescription drugs, health care costs. President Biden has taken steps to lower gas prices. They're down more than $1.50 since their peaks last summer. We've put in place a price cap on Russian oil to maintain global energy supplies and to reduce Russia's revenues, and importantly, a trifecta of legislation: the CHIPS Act, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act, the Inflation Reduction Act. We're investing in America again, rebuilding roads and bridges, making sure that every American family has access to the internet, and creating good jobs in advanced manufacturing, clean energy, semiconductors. Factories are opening all across America, and not just on the coast, but throughout the country in areas that haven't seen the investment that they need.
Those jobs numbers seem to defy predictions of a recession this year. Do you still think one is likely?
Well, look, you don't have a recession when you have 500,000 jobs and the lowest unemployment rate in more than 50 years. So what I see is a path in which inflation is declining significantly and the economy is remaining strong. And really, that's a path I believe is possible, and it's what I'm hoping we will be able to achieve.
Finally, are you confident we're going to avoid default and have this debt limit showdown resolved?
America has paid all of its bills on time since 1789, and not to do so would produce an economic and financial catastrophe. And every responsible member of Congress must agree to raise the debt ceiling. It's something that simply can't be negotiable. And while sometimes we've gone up to the wire, it's something that Congress has always recognized their responsibility needs to do again.
So, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says we can't be in a recession. We just gained 500,000 new jobs, and unemployment rate is at the lowest it has been in over 50 years. What do you think? Can we be in a recession with that? Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. We have seen gas come down $1.50 from the highs of last June of $5.01 on the national average. But Russia is mounting a massive new war front in Ukraine, and it's already starting, coming up here on the 1-year anniversary of February 24th, which is right around the corner, and it's already kind of beginning here. Take a look. Now you can see here Moscow's seen moving troops into East Ukraine ahead of the expected offensive, and they're already seeing gains in the Donetsk region in Ukraine already, as we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary. And on the almost 1-year anniversary, the war's already pretty long in tooth on both sides. And the question is, how much longer could this go? Could this go a whole nother year? Yeah. And here's the thing is that now a lot of people are saying the U.S. says that Russia actually has 300,000 or more troops. Ukraine thinks that Russia could have 500,000 troops mounting this new offensive into Ukraine of basically newly trained troops, a lot of which have no experience in the military and were drafted against their will. Remember, if you're drafted, you didn't have a choice. They basically kind of took you against your will. And this is their first shot at the military. And you guys can let me know your thoughts here on this. So we'll see what happens here. And a lot of these new tanks are just being delivered here. Remember, a lot of other countries besides the US are delivering tanks here as well. So we'll see what happens here. Also, look what also happened. A drone explosion happened less than 100 miles from Moscow as fears of strikes grow in Moscow as well. And so much fear of strikes there that they are actually preparing for this. And you can see here Russia's network of bomb shelters and bunkers are reportedly being prepared from decades ago. You can see here they're spending millions and millions of rubles, or their currency, to refurbish these old Cold War era bunkers in Moscow that was once a heavily restricted military sites to prepare in case Moscow gets bombed by Ukraine or other countries. So they're actually reportedly refurbishing these old bomb bunkers now. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts on that as we come into the 1 year anniversary of this war that Russia initially thought would only last a few days, similar to what the Crimea invasion, where they basically just took it over, and similar to where they took over Crimea and it was basically just kind of a surrender situation. Ukraine has not done that and has fought back every step of the way, and so far has been successful at defending their country. But now Russia is launching a bigger offensive, and we'll see what happens. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments, and I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country and around the world. So if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe down below, click the bell icon so you don't miss out on new videos that come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, thanks for liking and sharing these videos. Here's some videos you can watch next. Here's a new video about the $2,400 Social Security Raise and Expansion Act of 2023. Brand new information there. Or you can click here to watch our newest video next. So click on one of those videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.